My name is Sofia, and the chaos of moving boxes was nothing compared to the chaos I was chasing. I didn't move to this city for the career opportunities. I moved to bring down Marcus Thompson. He wasn't just a businessman. He was a titan, a legend, and according to my nascent evidence, a thief who had bilked his shareholders out of $10 million. The city was his fortress, and I was the journalist with the single dull key. The key to the fortress, in a strange way, was the apartment. It was on the third floor of an old brownstone building, quiet, overlooked and managed by the owner, Mr. Lee. He was a study in beige, perpetually neatly pressed, soft-spoken, and obsessed with the small details of building maintenance. His demeanor screamed harmless anonymity, which was precisely what I needed. I signed the lease, unloaded the first batch of encrypted hard drives, and began to build my war room in plain sight. Unbeknownst to me, while I was vetting him as a landlord, he was vetting me as a threat. The first anomaly I noticed was minute, almost psychological. My research desk, meticulously organized by color-coded folders detailing Thompson's shell corporations, would sometimes feel wrong. A stack would be offset by a millimeter. The coffee mug would be facing the opposite way. I dismissed it as sleep deprivation or the paranoia that naturally clings to investigative work. It wasn't until I started marking the inner pages of specific, non-critical files with tiny, invisible wax seals that I confirmed it. Someone was entering my apartment. The first major twist wasn't a discovery in Thompson's finances. It was a discovery about my landlord. Through a deep dive into Thompson's corporate filings, specifically the names listed on a series of shell company maintenance contracts, I found a familiar name, Lee, D. Digging further revealed that Mr. Lee wasn't just Thompson's associate. He was a close personal confidant, tied by deep financial leverage and decades of loyalty. He wasn't just the landlord. He was the gatekeeper. He had placed me under his roof because Thompson knew a journalist was sniffing around, and they needed an in-house monitor. The true scope of the danger only revealed itself when the campaign of sabotage began. I had lined up a crucial witness, a former accountant named Sarah, who had agreed to meet me at a secure, undisclosed location. Just 30 minutes before the meeting, she called, her voice trembling and laced with panic, muttering only, "They know, Sofia. They told me they know where my kids go to school." She hung up and disappeared. This wasn't professional security. This was brutal intimidation. Mr. Lee, using the cover of his maintenance duties, was accessing my secure router logs and calendar entries, systematically burning my sources. The pressure intensified as I secured a new laptop and began working exclusively on a separate, dedicated VPN, changing my digital habits entirely. But Mr. Lee was tenacious. One cold evening, the main water line to the building was intentionally shut off for emergency repairs. When I went downstairs to confront him, he was waiting. He didn't mention the water. Instead, he mentioned a specific unpublished detail from my notes, a detail that was only visible on my laptop screen. He simply said, "Those late nights can be very bad for your health, Sofia." It was a clear, chilling warning. He could watch me whenever he wanted. I realized I couldn't beat him on his terms. I had to force the game out of the apartment. I started staging documents, leaving elaborate, convincing fake trails about Thompson's alleged movements in Paris or Hong Kong. My hope was to send Mr. Lee and, by extension, Thompson on expensive, futile wild goose chases, while I secured the real evidence through old-fashioned, shoe leather and face-to-face meetings miles away from my supposed safe house. The central turn occurred when I finally secured the definitive piece of paper, a signed, notarized internal memo from Thompson's former CFO detailing the exact mechanism of the $10 million embezzlement, complete with bank transfer codes. I knew I couldn't risk leaving it in the apartment. I had to get it to my editor immediately. But the moment I placed the memo in my messenger bag, my phone buzzed with an anonymous, chilling threat, a single photo of my messenger bag, taken from above, with the caption, "Too heavy to run with." The threat wasn't a guess. It proved there was a camera, likely hidden behind the smoke detector or in one of the light fixtures, giving Mr. Lee a constant, perfect view. My investigation had now put my life in danger. I started receiving anonymous packages, not bombs, but small, deeply disturbing items, a dead raven, a single shell casing, and a folded copy of my passport photo, all designed to erode my resolve and remind me that they controlled my environment. The tension escalated rapidly to the confrontation. I arranged to meet my editor in a secure building downtown, but I knew Mr. Lee would be watching me leave. Instead of sneaking out, I marched downstairs, knocked on his door, and forced the issue. "I know who you are, I know who you work for, and I know what you've been doing," I stated, keeping my voice level despite the adrenaline coursing through me. Mr. Lee became a portrait of suppressed rage. He didn't shout. He radiated cold menace. He admitted his connection to Thompson, detailing how Thompson held the mortgage on Mr. Lee's own family property, giving him no choice but to comply. He tried to strong-arm me, his hand gripping my arm with surprising strength, demanding that I hand over my flash drives and immediately move out. He said I would disappear into the filing cabinet of missed opportunities. I refused to back down. I pulled my arm away. "You're already disappearing, Mr. Lee," I retorted. "Thompson only uses people he can discard. The only way you survive this is to cooperate with the authorities. I have the evidence on him. I'm publishing in 3 hours." I left him standing in his doorway. Shattered but still dangerous, I raced to meet my editor, securing the final piece of the puzzle on the way, a meeting with the CFO's legal team who confirmed the memo's authenticity. With the help of my editor and a trusted source within the district attorney's office, the legal team was the final strategic move. We simultaneously published the findings and delivered a sealed, unassailable package of evidence to the authorities. The final act moved with dizzying speed. The detailed evidence, combined with Mr. Lee's sudden silence, made Thompson realize his inner circle had been compromised. But it was too late. Mr. Lee, realizing the full scope of his legal peril, harassment, intimidation, and accessory to fraud, turned himself in and was forced to fully cooperate with the authorities, detailing how Thompson directed the intimidation campaign against me. Sofia's investigation led to a major legal breakthrough. The evidence was overwhelming, and Marcus Thompson was arrested and charged with multiple counts of embezzlement, fraud, and conspiracy. His downfall was swift, shocking the entire city's business elite. I emerged from the ordeal as a national hero in the world of journalism. My career launched on the wave of a major headline and a prestigious reporting award. My investigation led to widespread reforms in the city's business community, closing the loopholes that Thompson had exploited for years. Mr. Lee, stripped of his property and his anonymity, faced severe legal consequences for his desperate and misguided involvement in the scandal. The only thing I kept from Parcel 404 was the knowledge that sometimes the biggest threats are the ones hidden in the quiet corners of your everyday life.